In this video, we will solve a question on how to find out the profit maximizing price given the demand function where we have the level of advertising expenditure also. The question is, a firm with market power faces the demand curve given us as P is equal to 100 minus 3Q plus 4 under root A, where P, Q and A denote price, output and the expenditure on the advertising respectively. The total cost for the firm is, that is C is equal to 4Q square plus 10Q plus A. We have to find out the firm's profit maximizing price. Okay, we will also calculate the profit maximizing quantity and the level of advertising expenditure in this question. So what we have been given, the inverse demand function, that is P is equal to 100 minus 3Q plus 4 under root A. This is the demand function. Also we have been given the cost function, that is C is equal to 4Q square plus 10Q plus A. This is the cost function for the firm. Now we need to calculate, first we need to find out the profit function for the firm. So profit will be equal to total revenue minus total cost. Okay, let us denote the total cost by C because it is being shown here by C, and we know that total revenue is price into output minus cost is C. Okay, this is our profit function. So can we write it? Profit is P is being given as the inverse demand function, which is equal to 100 minus 2Q, no, 3Q plus 4 under root A. To this we multiply by Q because P into Q, minus we have the cost function that is being given us as 4Q square plus 10Q plus A. Let us further solve the profit function. So we will have this Q is multiplied to each of these terms, so it will become here 100 into Q is 100Q minus, then we have 3Q square, then we have 4 under root A times Q minus, this minus is multiplied to each of these terms, so it becomes minus 4Q square minus 10Q minus A. Okay, let's find out if we have any what we call like terms. So we have 100Q, here we have 10Q, these are like terms, we can subtract them. So 100Q minus 10Q is equal to 90Q. Then we have minus 3Q square and minus 4Q square. So minus minus 7Q square, 7Q square. Then we don't have the similar terms, so we write them as it is. So we have 4. Let us write in place of under root A as A raised power 1 upon 2. Okay, then we have Q minus A. Okay, this is the profit function for the firm. Now for profit maximization, two conditions must be satisfied here. That is, the marginal profit with respect to output should be equal to 0, and another condition is another condition is that the marginal profit with respect to the level of advertising expenditure should be equal to 0. So we have the two conditions here. So let's find out both the conditions here. D pi upon dq means, so d pi upon dq means the partial derivative of this function with respect to q. So the derivative of q in the first term is 1, we are left with 100, minus derivative of q square is 2q, so 2 into 3 is 6q. Derivative of q in the last term is 1, so we are left with 4. In place of under root, let's write it A raised power 1 upon 2. Okay, and derivative sorry, I have to take the derivative of this function. So this is our profit function when we simplified it. So derivative of q is 1, we are left with 90. Derivative of q square is 2q, so 2 into 7 is 14q by power function rule, and derivative of q in the third term is 1, we are left with a raised power 1 upon 2, and derivative of a will be constant because we are taking the partials with respect to q, and we set it equal to 0. This very condition. Similarly, d pi upon dA, that means the marginal profit with respect to level of advertising expenditure, it should also be equal to 0. This implies we have to take the partial of this profit function with respect to a this time. Okay, so since no a is involved in the two terms, their derivative will be equal to 0. Now derivative of a raised power 1 upon 2. What is the derivative of a raised power 1 upon 2? It is simple. By power function rule, exponent becomes coefficient and exponent is subtracted by 1. So we get 1 upon 2 a raised power 1 upon 2 minus 1 is minus 1 upon 2, and we can write it like this. Okay, let's write it as it is, or we can further write it in this fashion, that is 1 upon 2 times 1 upon a raised power plus 1 upon 2, because transposing numerator to denominator changes the exponent sign. Okay, so the derivative of this stuff came out to be this stuff. Okay, so we have 4 as it is, and the derivative of this a raised power 1 upon 2 came out to be 1 upon 2 times 1 upon a raised power 1 upon 2 q minus derivative of a will be 1, and we set it equal to 0. So here some cancellation will be done. Dun, 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 dun. So we are left with twice. Wait a minute, what I have done here? Okay, let me see if I have done it correctly here or not. We have 4. Okay, so for a, somewhere I have done a mistake, and I am not sure where I have done the mistake, so let me see it here. So we have that partial with respect to a. Okay, so when we take the partial with respect to a, so we get here, let me see, so we get here twice q upon a raised power 1 upon 2 minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, let me see if I have done it correctly. So can we write it as twice q upon a raised power 1 upon 2 is equal to 1, transposing this. So we will get here a raised power 1 upon 2 cross multiplying is equal to twice q, which implies a will be equal to, transposing this under root, it will become square here, so we will get twice, rather it will become square, twice q square, so which becomes 2 to the 4 q square. So a is equal to 4 q square. Okay, now how can we solve it further? Let us plug the value of a is equal to 4q square in this equation. Okay, to see if we can find out some stuff here. So we have put the value of a is equal to this stuff in this equation. So we have 90 minus 14q plus 4 times a is 4q square whole raised power 1 upon 2, and we set it equal to 0, which implies 90 minus 14q plus we have 4 raised power 1 upon 2 is 2, so 4 2s are 8, we get here 8. So we have q square, it gets cancelled, we get 8q. Okay, and we set it equal to 0. But now the curve path, so we'll get here 6 which implies 6q, or 90 minus 6q is equal to 0, which gives us 6q is equal to 90. Dividing both sides by 6, we will get q is equal to 6 1s are 6, 7 8 9, so 6 5s are 30. So the profit maximizing level of output will be equal to 15. Now we need to find out the value of level of advertising here. So plug the value of A is equal to this stuff, because we are supposed to find out the profit maximizing price. For that we need to find out the profit maximizing level of output. Why? Because this is our demand function, so we need to find out the value of Q, then the value of A. Since A is equal to 4Q square, can we write A is equal to 4 times Q square means 15 square. Okay, so A will be equal to 4 15 225. So it is now 15 into 15. I forget the best calculation. 5 5s are 25, 5 1s are 5, 6 is 7. So we get then 5 and 1. So this is 5 go 5 is 7 5 get ba. Okay, this is 225, 225. So A will be equal to 4 5s are 20, 4 2s are 8. Now the 4 2s are 8. Now the 4 5s are 20, 4 2s are 8, 9 10, 4 2s are 8, 9. So A came out to be 900. Now what will be the profit maximizing price? Simply plug A and Q in the demand function. So P will be equal to 100 minus 3 times the value of Q, which is 15, plus 4 under root A. A came out to be 900, which is equal to 100 minus 3 15s are 45, plus 4 under root 900 is equal to 30 square. So because under root 900 is equal to 30 square. Okay, so square and root gets cancelled, we are left with 30, which is equal to, which implies P will be equal to 100 minus 5 3, 4 3s are 12, so it is 120. So we have 120 plus 100, which is 220, 220 minus 45, 45. I hope I have done the calculation right. Okay, so 220 minus 45, दाने 5 तो 5, दाने 5 5, ये हो रहा ये बने का, this is 7, so we get here 175. Okay, so profit maximizing price will be equal to 175. I'm not sure whether I have done the calculation right, but this is how do we solve. Okay, so to find out the profit maximizing level of price when we have the level of expenditure on advertising given, so we have the two conditions for profit maximization. That is, we need to find out the marginal profit with respect to output, and we set it equal to 0, and marginal profit with respect to level of advertising expenditure, and we set it equal to 0. When we solve these two equations, we will get this equation, that is A is equal to 4Q square. Then we plug the value of A in the first equation to find out the value of Q, which came out to be 15. Then the value of A will be equal to 4 times the value of Q, which we got. So when we are done with A and Q, then we can find out the profit maximizing price, because we have to find out Q and A to find out the profit maximizing price. Okay, I repeat, let me be hopeful that I have done it correctly. So if you find out any mistake in this video, please comment in the comment box. Okay, I hope you find out this video helpful. Thank you.